Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 473. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez. Say that again, Manny.
No. Oh,
yeah. For some reason, your mic is like muting you when you like start screaming or something.
It's I'm on the another computer, so it's going to be a little bit weird. But yeah,
there you go. Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
A very fiery Brett Murdoch.
Spitting hot fire tonight. What's up?
And of course, and Brian Manjoma.
It's a live-action Netflix adaptation. What did you expect was going to happen?
Another one, huh? Another one. Here we go. Richard,
I'm going to screenlight that shit right and left. We're getting actually a Throwdown live action adaptation.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and we're going to be race swapped, right?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to be played by a small Japanese girl.
Oh my God. Anyway, Richard will be in when he's in. And yeah, shout out to the fans, for joining us on a Friday night.
thanks a lot.
And thankfully, this was a very big week in gaming, more or less, So let's get into it, man. And we're going to start things off a little differently. We're going to start off with the Nintendo Direct. We will do our usual. We're going to go do a rundown, but there's a specific reason I want to talk about this Nintendo Direct, because some things that some Xbox guys feared came true. And
we're going to just eat our vegetables first.
Yeah, and got to pat ourselves on the back. Throwdown. Those Xbox games, those 4 Xbox games, we called every single one of them.
Yep,
correctly.
Every single one of them.
Ain't that about it?
It's like you have a pattern of being right or know what we're talking about. It's weird.
Well, I mean, in general, it didn't take rocket science to predict them. It's not like a huge corner. It's not one of their big cornerstone things. They're not putting up like a Halo or a Gears of War on there.
That would be massive. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I call the Microsoft toe dip, and essentially seeing what they can do, and get a little bit more out of these, out of these games that have already run their course. Not a bad thing.
Yeah. All right, man. So let's go through it. I'm reading this off a Game Informer. It says everything announced at today's Nintendo Direct. So if they're missing something, blame them. So this may not even be in order. Obviously, I didn't watch the Nintendo Direct because I don't give a fuck about Nintendo. Right, Grounded and Pentiment, 2 of the games that we predicted, coming to Switch, people. Coming to Switch. I'm very interested with Grounded because I'm like, that's an online game. Like, how's that going to work on Nintendo?
Well, I mean, that's
poorly.
Yes.
It's probably not going to work amazingly, but the point is that they have it on there in general. Like, there's how well does, I'm guessing the only good online game they have is Splatoon, right?
I don't.
Well, Splatoon works, and so does Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the best-selling game on the Switch.
Yeah,
Mario Kart.
That's true. Mm-hmm. So there you go. You got Grounded to come in April 16th, and Pentiment is out now, which is and it's physical too for Pentiment. Yeah. So there you go. So that got announced. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just saying, that Xbox is over, right?
It's over. That's
Grounded
it.
Pentiment.
Call it a wrap.
That's it. It's done. Call it.
How dare.
Yeah. All right, next up here. And again, remember, people, just bear with us.
Question.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Do we know if we're getting crossplay on these?
That's a good question. Pentiment probably not because it's single player. Unless I'm wrong about Pentiment,
No.
Grounded.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
There's a question I had about this, and obviously, on the question show, they sort of said, oh, hey, if you, kind of like what happens with Minecraft, where you log into your Xbox account and then you could have your cross save. That's the one thing I'm wondering about. Like, if you, let's say for the sake of conversation, you had any one of these other titles on your Xbox, would you be able to use a cross save or essentially cross platform play?
Well, I mean, not just that, but here's one of the things I really liked about Grounded. Yes, I'm one of the 6 people that played that motherfucker all the way through.
As Bruce Campbell would say, you're the one.
Yes. And actually, for those of you who haven't played Grounded, I cannot recommend it enough. That game is fun. It is just fun. I'm showing my age here, but if you ever saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it's basically that. You're ever like, oh, that movie looked fun. That would be fun to do. That's what Grounded is. But one of the things I really liked about it is, I don't know if any of you, like, well, I don't know even why I say this. None of you play survival games, so you may not be aware. The games like Valheim or that kind of thing, oftentimes one person hosts a server. They're the person responsible for the world that everybody is playing on. They're opening a world, opening a private peer-to-peer server, and everybody else is joining into them. Now, there's several ways that you can get around that. The biggest one on PC, for a lot of stuff at least, is to rent a private server, which can cost you about $10 a month. But the cool thing that Grounded does is it lets you share a file. So, like, if I start a world and I'm playing and then I log off, Tony, in theory, hypothetically, could jump in and jump into that same world even though I'm not there hosting it. So he could open it up and now he's hosting the world. If I jump in, I'm jumping in that same world. But it's the same world, like, if we build a base together and I build, like, a tower and log off, Tony's going to log in and see that tower. I don't have to be on for, like, instance, like, when I play Valheim with people, if we're all, like, Tuesdays is Valheim days. So, like, I get on Tuesdays around 6, usually, and kick on the server so everybody can get on, do their thing for about 2 hours, and then we adventure from 8 to 10. But I have to get on and physically open up the server. Grounded does that really cool thing where it just allows you to share a server amongst a group. And if you could do that, especially cross-save, that would be absolutely huge, and would probably, and I'll add should be, the standard for these types of games. It is. I cannot express how much of a quality of life improvement that is, and how standardized it needs to be. So, Grounded does some really cool things. Not only is it a really fun game, but it actively seeks to kind of smooth out some of these wrinkles that are still kind of plaguing the survival genre. Because, you know, for those young bloods who might not know, that shit's new, comparatively. Less than 10 years old, right? So we're still kind of figuring out the best way to interact with it, as opposed to everything else has been around 30 plus years. So that's all. Okay, I'm done.
All right, a couple of things here. Shout out to Richard Bailey Jr., who's joining us. How are you, Rich?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Going on, man, on this
Good to
wonderful
see you,
Friday
buddy.
night, you know? Good stuff.
Yes.
Rich, get ready, man. Tonight's going to be a fiery show, man. And
I'm
also,
already.
Yeah, Brett's already out. You should have heard the pre-show. It was great. And we're going to bring some of that. Also, shout out to Blitz, who says, yes, crossplay is confirmed, people.
Oh, excellent, dude. That is, for Grounded especially, that is big. You guys won't know this, but like Tony and I have talked. I brought this up at the pre-show, but
Yeah, do
Tony
it
and I
now. Do it
talked
now.
a
Do
couple-
it now. Do it now. Let's go nuts.
Cool. Let's do this. Tony and I have talked a couple of times about, and I'm just going to cut forward. Sea of Thieves is coming too. Surprise! All right, let's move on. Pikachu face. So Tony and I have talked several times about like me defending both Grounded and Sea of Thieves, saying they're actually great games and they have a pretty dedicated player base. And we basically came to the conclusion that yes, while they can be great games, they are limited, especially being the types of service or online games they are limited by only being on Xbox, and they're never going to achieve, you know, true saturated success the same way like a Fortnite will, like even like an Apex Legend will. Although Sea of Thieves is probably already doing better than that. Anyway, my point is, it stops it from becoming a phenomenon. It stops it from being a thing because it is limited to only that crowd. And none of these hyper successful things, they don't really do the whole console exclusive thing. Like Fortnite would never be fucking console exclusive, but if it was, it would have never kicked off. So this allows both of these games to enter a wider arena to achieve critical success. And this is like fucking 4 years, or at least several years, after we got them on the Xbox. So like, you can't really complain because the only thing that's happening is your world is opening up. You're getting more players. You're getting more revenue pumped into this game you like, which means new content, which means the developers are going to be back at it because that shit is keeping their lights on. It's paying their bills. We have now aligned motives. I want to play this game. You want to make that game. Cool. That's where we all want to be. So just fucking stop losing your shit over it, people. This is a good thing for literally everybody involved and everybody who plays these games. The only people who are talking shit are the people sitting on the sidelines who don't fucking play these games. In which case, shut the fuck up. Quit coming to my party, jumping in on games I like, and then fucking pissing in the corner.
Yeah, talking about the crazy Xbox guys who are very mad that these games are coming to other platforms. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
Go ahead, because I got something else I want to bring up about that.
Oh, these motherfuckers aren't even the people playing that game. They're just armchair assholes who are like, how dare somebody else play Grounded? Bitch, you ain't even playing Grounded.
That's true. Here's the thing, again, because obviously fanboys don't use logic, but it's like, okay, if you're a real fan of Xbox, and I would almost maintain that these guys aren't a fan of Xbox. They're a fan of being a fan. As weird as that sounds. Basically, if you're a real fan, you would think like this. Oh, Xbox games are going to other platforms. That means my favorite company's going to make more money, which means they're going to be able to make more games. Right? You would think that's how they think. But no, like we said before the show, they are willing to let the ship go down in flames just so Sony and Nintendo don't get their exclusives.
Yeah, because they're fucking nuts. Contrarians.
Yeah, you guys are nuts.
This is coming from an iconoclast, right? Like, I like tearing down established things just for the sake of watching it fucking fall. Like, I am the person who will argue with you for pretty much no good reason, just for fun sometimes. But these people they're a bridge too far, man. They are there because they want to be fighting against the more popular thing. That's the only fucking reason. And they are here without logic. And I am here to say, as an Xbox fan, get the fuck out of my fandom. We don't want you here anyway.
Yeah, but unfortunately, at least on Twitter, but even with Xbox executives, these guys are the face of Xbox. These are the guys they invite to events, man. These are the guys they go to dinner with. You know, it's fucking insane.
That part's a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
And we talked before the show about how it is a fucking shame that Microsoft is trying to outreach with its audience, and these assholes are the one that fucking answer. Right? Like, you are going to ruin it for the rest of us. No other game company gives a shit about you or what you feel. I'm not saying Microsoft does. I'm just saying they do a little bit more, right? It's part of their strategy to try and reach out and connect with their audience. And, like, let's not fuck that up, huh? Because I don't like a company treating me with cold disdain and then ignoring me for a fucking decade. And you're pissing off the only company that doesn't fucking do that.
Yeah, these fanboys are wild, man. Over some games, but let's continue.
Over these games. Over these games. I even like these games.
Yeah, over Grounded, over Pentiment, over Hi-Fi Rush, and over whatever the fuck the other game was. I'm like, really, guys? Really?
Dude, I want to go to these people and be like, do you even know tell me, what kind of game is Pentiment? Do you even fucking know?
They don't know. They don't fucking know. You know? Sea of Thieves is the other one. Come on, guys. Really. Like, with Grounded and Sea of Thieves, you should want them on other platforms so more players get to play so the games keep going. Xbox wins in that scenario. You know?
I swear to God, everybody against Sea of Thieves coming with multiplat should be forced to play 100 hours of Skull and Bones. I know that's cruel, but I stand by what I said.
Yeah. It's insane. What's going on? Berserker Guts. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. What's going on, man? Let's be honest. All these games are $5 Walmart bin games at this point. Yeah, basically, you know, and Xboxes are crying over this shit. It's nuts, man. But anyway, let's continue with this fucking bullshit Nintendo Direct. What is this next game here? Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. Okay. A Ranger, a role-playing puzzling adventure. Okay.
That sounds like troubleware.
You know what? Just to keep this segment going, I'll just read the little descriptions here. So going back to Ender Magnolia, set within the world of Ender Lilies. Woo, yeah, because that really clarifies things. The game sees characters defeating and teaming with deadly homunculi to rescue a devastated world. All right. The Arranger.
Hold on. I think you need to give it a top down. Like, this game looks like a top down 2D.
No. This is a side scroller. Brett,
yeah, it looks like I'm
looking at the wrong one.
I know. I made the same mistake too. Yeah,
it looks like kind of like a Vanillaware game.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there is an actual Vanillaware game that's actually a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But no, this one is like it doesn't look offensive to me.
No,
It's
but,
like, all
you
right,
know.
sure.
It looks like a good Hollow Knight-ish type game. It's that side-scrolling fighting Metroidvania type. That's
Yeah, it looks like
this next
vanilla
one. I don't know
world.
what the fuck this is.
Yeah, this is okay. So let's go to that. Yeah, or Ranger. I'll read it. Yeah, this is top down. Set in an interconnected puzzle world, you'll navigate on a grid where everything moves when you move. You'll take down monsters, help townsfolk, and of course, solve puzzles.
Yeah, so it's like one of those slide puzzle type of games where you sort of move things out of the way and you got to move the other things. It's pretty much that.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's
It's
an
a,
actual.
it's a
yeah. Go ahead.
it's a fascinating idea, to sort of taking that into sort of taking those sorts of ideas and applying it to one of those type of games. Though I could kind of see this more as like a cell phone game.
Yeah.
At best.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, you know. Here you go, man. Here's a Vanillaware game. Unicorn Overload. We've seen a lot of Vanillaware's beautiful turn-based strategy game, but now we can finally play it ahead of its March 8th release. So there you go. Vanillaware makes good stuff, you know.
And this one's a more of a real-time strategy type of title.
Yeah.
They always seem to take those things that like haven't been done in a while and sort of like give it their nice little Vanillaware sort of sheen. It's nice to see them still making games.
Yeah. Monster Hunter Stories, the 2017 Nintendo 3DS RPG spin-off of Monster Hunter, is heading to Switch as well as PlayStation 4 and Steam. In addition to HD visuals, this port includes new voiceovers, a museum mode, and additional content previously only available in Japan. So
it's kind of an old game. It's surprising. It's surprising that they actually finally brought it over and HD'd it up. But it doesn't look. It's not.
I mean, that's kind of what the Nintendo Switch has been doing this entire generation, HDing up old games. So,
this one was it was a 3DS game. It was a nice little fun game that they had made.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see it getting a full console, like a multi-platform release.
Yeah. Disney Epic Mickey rebrushed. Another HD remake here.
This one is interesting because they kind of reworked the style of the game a little bit too. So if those who don't know, Warren Spector was the creator of Deus Ex, actually created this game, and he's actually like a crazy Disney head. So like he purposely made the game to sort of pay a lot of homage to those original things. There's actually a side-by-side comparison you can see for those, for like the beginning, like a lot of the game is replicating that old sort of like old Disney painted style to it. But for this rebrushed edition, they sort of gave it the styling of the second Epic Mickey game.
Interesting.
Looks nice.
Yeah. It says here 2011's Epic Mickey is getting retouched for a comeback on Switch. The enhanced remake includes updated graphics, new skills for Mickey, other improvements. You can learn more here. So there you go.
I'm surprised they didn't put that on Xbox and PlayStation though. But
Shin Megami Tensei 5. Vengeance. It's just like, what is it? The definitive version of Shin Megami Tensei 5 includes the base adventure along with new storyline featuring new locales and demons. I remember when this game was first announced, the original version, I said the shit looks like a PS2 game. Nintendo fanboys got mad at me, man.
It was a PS2 game.
Yeah, actually, no, it
Wasn't
made.
it?
No, it wasn't. It was made for the Switch, and it looks like shit.
I mean, it looks about as good as it could look for something like that. I don't know. It's not horrible.
Yeah. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection.
Yeah. You want to talk about a game that looks old?
Yeah.
Like that Shin Megami Tensei game at least looks like they put a little effort in this. This just looks like they just took an old PlayStation or Wii game and threw it on the freaking Switch.
Oh man.
Serious question: Did they just look at the Switch and go like, "Well, what games can it still play?"
I probably, Cuban Boss, he goes, I work again, unfortunately, but I'll be listening. Shout out to the crew. Much love. Respect to you, brother.
What up?
All right. But yeah, Brad, that's probably what they did. It's like, what can it run? you know, and then they
They just
tune
can't rush
accordingly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're digging through their files. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we could retouch this up.
Yeah. Sword Art.
And yet, no. The fuck, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
I just like how pretty much EA has announced that the Battlefront remake was just awful. That they had to grudge up the actual good one and say, no, guys, look, Battlefront is still good. Please play it, please. Yeah, I am not buying it.
Play it with absolutely no effort to improve anything. It just is what it was.
And then the worst thing is if the trend is true, then the existing versions of them, which are available, I think, on Steam and GOG, will be removed, and this will become like the default one.
Yeah.
So then whatever nonsense is in this one will kind of be like the one going forward. So I'm going to make a point to just go and buy them now, just in case.
Fair enough. Blitz says these games are coming to PlayStation as well. Which ones? Is
Star Wars?
Okay, so that I can see. What about Shin Megami Tensei? I thought that was a Switch exclusive.
Oh no, it's coming to PlayStation as well.
With those
There you
graphics,
go.
Jesus Christ!
I don't know.
Enjoy.
Can the PlayStation run it?
Wow. Ooh. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you think. It's just it doesn't look that horrible.
I mean,
It
it's
looks
gonna
like
look. It's gonna look as
It
bad
looks
as
like
with
a
Monster
Shin
Hunter.
Megami Tensei game.
No, I mean this
you know.
looks really bad. This is gonna be. Remember when Monster Hunter Rise came on like PlayStation and PC and it looked fucking awful? You know, it's gonna be the same deal because it was a Switch game.
Dude, okay.
You know?
Let's be honest. This whole show is lipstick on a pig, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
They desperately need a system hardware refresh. Like, desperate. Like, even outside of like what people think, or like, and honestly, it's not even an opinion or a side or a fanboy question. It's just a legitimate, like, you need to refresh your hardware. You are getting, I think, in danger of ostracizing your own consumer base, which I could be entirely wrong about this, but like, it's this. Yeah, I've looked through this several times. I'm just like, everything on here is lipstick on a pig, man.
Yeah, I mean, Switch, man. What do you expect? You know.
Well, that's not fair. Like, in fairness, Tony.
Yeah.
Like, when this shit first came out, it had some bangers. It really did, and it's had some bangers since then.
Okay, I'm talking about what are we talking about? The games or the graphical prowess of it?
We're kind of talking about both. I was saying
because I'll separate those. I'll separate those. Like, remember, Throwdown's been around forever. Since day one, I've been complaining about the performance issues of the Switch, how horrible the games look, how badly they run. I've been consistent with that, you know?
I guess what I'm saying is I agree with that. Despite that, they have managed to put out some good bangers, but that was mostly years ago when the technology wasn't as aged as it looks today. Like, it started aged, it's getting worse. It's like both presidential candidates. That's that. I'm not going to get more political than that, but it's like they both started old.
Yeah, just like Switch started old, and now it showed its age.
Older.
Yeah,
it's just older now.
Like like you can smell the decay. You know.
Yeah, that shit just needs mothball. And like, it's maybe do it like you can even do an upgraded version like. In this day and age, backwards compatibility is a whole different beast. You can do full backwards compatibility and just say, oh, it's just still the Switch, but now it's the Switch Plus. You did that shit with the Game Boy, and it flew over just fine. Pissed me right the fuck off, but it flew over just fine. What was it? The Advance that could play old games, or did? It's.
I don't even know. I checked out by then.
Just let people still play Switch games or download and emulate them. It's not a heavy hitting system. It shouldn't be hard to throw an emulator on whatever fucking system you make next. Look at the Steam Deck, buy whatever the fuck is on sale, and for the love of God, just make it a little stronger. And give it a fucking dock that actually beefs it up a little bit. Give people a reason to hook it up to their TV, other than they just don't want the neck pain of looking down all the time because they're not fucking 7 years old.
Yeah,
I know so many people that'd be so much more interested. I'm pretty sure Tony's one of them. If you could just put it on a base and get more performance out of it, Maybe you have to choose 60 frames or 60 FPS or quality when you're in handheld, but you get both when you dock. Like, there are solutions to this. You know, it's because part of me wants to be like, this is like when the Wii U came out, and everybody's like, well, I feel like this should be a tablet I could just carry around. Like, what people think a thing should be is what you should be trying to deliver, whether or not that was your original plan. And much like everybody thought the Wii U was something different, everybody thought that the Switch was going to get a boost when you put it on the fucking dock.
Yeah.
You could say otherwise. I know at least a dozen people that thought that was going to be a thing, even if Nintendo never announced it. And that's kind of the problem. And that was the same problem with the Wii U. Right? Like, it's your consumers have this idea in their head. It doesn't fucking matter whether or not you said it. They are telling you, they're giving you a handwritten note about what the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Do that. And I know somebody's going to chime in here and be like, that's not Nintendo. And I fucking know. And that's why I'm so angry about it. Because it's so easy. It is so easy. You have the instructions. Same thing with fucking Marvel and the comic books. Like, you have a written instruction book. Just do that. But no, we got to fucking reinvent the wheel every time. But this time it's going to be a square, and you don't know how great it's going to be. It's just going to be so great. Pre-order now. Don't
get me started on comic books. Like, hey, you have the storyboards right there, guys. You know. Anyway, but in all fairness,
on principle. Okay, I'm done.
But in all, oh my god, I was going to say some in defense of Nintendo, but I forgot. Oh well, it's lost. It was something, you know. That's what it was. In all fairness to Nintendo, though, yes, it would have been nice. It would be wonderful if you could like dock it and you actually get a performance boost. But given its sales, most customers don't give a fuck about that. You know, think about it like this, Brett. They always release updates that benefit the handheld mode and never the dock mode, because apparently most people just play it handheld mode, which is insane to me, because that's like the worst way to play the fucking Switch. The Joy-Cons suck, and the shit runs out of battery in like an hour or two. You know, but
because there's no incentive to dock it, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, I get that that's what this one is, but when you're looking at a system refresh, when you're looking at the Switch 2, really consider putting some guts in that fucking dock, man. Because again, like whether or not I said whether or not you intended it to be that way, a lot of people thought it was going to be that way, and they were disappointed when it wasn't. And if you look, that's one of the things that puts you in a lot of trouble again after the Wii U. And then by listening to them and giving them the thing that they thought they were going to get, they did want, you made more money than God. Yeah. So, like, you have two options. Either trick people into thinking the thing you're giving them is something successful and lose all your money, or give them that thing that they think that they want and make all the money in the fucking world. And again, I know Nintendo doesn't give a shit, but, like, especially in this instance, maybe they fucking should. Right? Like, I can't think of a more clear cut. Again, on the back of Palworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. This is becoming a thing where I'm like, I'm going to start harping on it, because I am fucking sick. And it's not you, but it's like, everybody's like, oh, that's Nintendo. That's how they've always been. You know what? That shit don't fly in my book anymore. Not when Palworld just took your own fucking intellectual property and made it the second most concurrent game on Steam fucking ever. It just changed the landscape of video games because you were too lazy and full of yourself to get off your fucking ass and do what the customers fucking wanted. Right? Like, we were seeing real repercussions because of Nintendo's ability want to shove their head in the sand. And I'm getting fucking sick of it, because it's not just Nintendo shit anymore. We were fine to leave you guys alone and play in your own like little playground, but now this shit is affecting the gamer sphere as a whole in significant and dramatic ways. So you know what? That's how Nintendo do won't fucking fly anymore, because you know what? Sega did shit their way too, and look what the fuck happened to them.
Yeah. But Blitz goes, what do you say? You guys really spend a lot of energy talking about a platform you actively hate. We're talking about the Nintendo Direct, so we're going to give our opinions on Nintendo. That's how these things work.
And it's not a platform I hate. It's a platform I grew up with that decided to fucking leave me behind.
So there you go.
I'm bitter about that shit.
As you should be, you know. Me, I do actively hate Nintendo. I will admit that. You know, I will admit that. Fuck Nintendo, you know. But Brett,
No,
you know, he
Rob.
is a disgruntled fan, you know.
So, what did I say when Switch first came out? I mean, you hear me talking shit about it now. Tony,
Yeah.
remind people what I said when Switch first came out.
Yeah, I remember the epic battles you and Chris had. You were vehemently defending the platform for like a good 3 years. You know?
Yeah, I said it may have reignited my love for gaming as an adult. That's how much I fucking loved it.
Yeah, so that's
Right,
not actively hating on the system. Doesn't sound, unless I'm bugging, that doesn't sound like actively hating on it, you know? I actively hated on it from the jump. You didn't. You literally said, let's keep it real here, right? After Rachel died, you didn't really want to play video games anymore. The fucking Switch got you back into it. You know, Legend of Zelda specifically got you back into it. You know, that's all. It's all documented on the podcast. You know.
So as much as I seem like a hater, I'm just really a disgruntled fan, right? Because Cynic is just a disappointed optimist, and I see how much better, and not just me. Palworld is a perfect example of this is how much better Nintendo could be doing if they tried.
Oh, by the way, Blitz says you're giving Palworld too much credit.
I mean, I'm giving it the credit it deserves according to the fucking Steam charts and sales numbers.
Oh, we will get to those in a bit.
It is the second most concurrently. I don't think you understand of all time, right? Like this wasn't like it got up there in a chart that shifts often. No, this shit was chiseled in fucking marble. Nothing dethroned the top 3 most concurrent games, and then this came. And when a game comes that has more concurrent players than this, then we can say tone it down a little bit. But if anything, I'm not being big enough with this because I'm having trouble wrapping my head around what a huge impact this has had, not just on the charts, but on how people are developing games. Game developers are having a good hard look in the mirror, thinking about this kind of shit. It's kind of like Baldur's Gate, right? There's a lot of games that have been super influential, and they might just change the way video games are being developed, right? We could be coming into a different renaissance here, and I realize that's a very hopeful way to spin it. But I think that we have had a slew of just legendarily good games ever since fucking Elden Ring. That was kind of the Harambe of good games.
Okay.
We've had some great stuff, and I think developers are starting to figure out what we like. Whether or not they're doing it for genuine love, I can't tell you, but we're starting to leave the dark era of whatever the fuck Fortnite did to games. Just changing everything to microtransactions and service models and everything like that. I think we're starting to move out of that.
Wow, that's very fun. This is what I'm talking about, Brett. This is why I call you the most optimistic guy I know, man. Because I feel the opposite. I'm like, gaming.
Sony says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, I'm like, this shit is going
Oh
downhill.
no. See, that's the thing. When Sony adjusted its 12 upcoming live service games, when the juggernaut Sony, and you have to realize how much resource it takes to change the course of that fucking ship, right? When they changed those 12 games, that was a siren. That was a call across the battlefield. That changed the fucking landscape in very small and very quiet ways. But the industry is lurching away. Even the slowest movers in the industry are lurching away from live service games because they've seen how toxic the fan base views them, and they're not trying to poison their own well.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest issue is that every single one of these companies was trying to chase a Destiny and a Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, there's the space is so small when literally everybody's going toward those directions. When people think of live services, they think of those 2 titles. They don't think about all those other things. Apex Legends tried it. The Suicide Squad did it. The friggin' Batman Arkham Knights tried to do it. Avengers tried to do it. All these companies, essentially these big companies, seeing that the money that's coming through there and essentially trying to replicate it, but doing it too late.
Yeah, I want to get to live service in a bit when we talk about Suicide
let's
Squad.
go with it. Let's continue with this Nintendo deal.
Yeah, we actually are talking about Nintendo, believe it or not.
I'm done. Sorry about that.
All good.
Go
ahead.
As Brett picks up his soapbox and puts it in his right pocket.
Brian, go ahead, man.
As a quick note, just to tie off the SMT5 vengeance, Tony, guess what? It was made in Unreal Engine 4.
Wow.
I know. Wow. I was shocked at that.
Wow.
Kill the Justice was done in Unreal 4 too.
Yeah, it does. But look at one game and look at the other. You know. But then again, one was made for the Switch originally, so we got to be fair. You know. All right. Anyway, let me move on here. Sword Art Online is still a thing, and they're making another game.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
yeah,
they're sort of chasing that. I feel like that's a space that they sort of lost because they officially could have had that. They could be on the level of that latest Grand Blue Fantasy game, but we'll see.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing I don't get. In an era of live service games, there's a game that takes place in a live service game that you never made into a live service game.
right.
It's the same issue I had with Dot Hack, where Dot Hack was literally a game, an anime about a thing that takes place in a massive multiplayer online game, but you never made a Dot Hack one of those games.
Yeah,
and this is just at the end of my tirade about how we have too many live service games. Like, fucking Sword Art was a layup. It was a gimme, and nobody.
No, because everybody wants to play Meliodas.
yeah. All right, next game here we have Gundam Breaker 4. I didn't realize there were that many Gundam Breaker games.
Yeah, they keep making them.
Yeah. All right. Next, after that, we have Super Monkey Ball. So there you go.
Yep. A Nintendo staple there.
Yep.
That's just a classic.
Which is funny because it's a Sega game. World of Goo 2. So people love the first one, I guess.
They like them some goo.
Yeah. Fantasy Life I. Okay.
Not sure. I mean, looks like a little like an open worldy, like a top-down type of open worldy RPG game.
Yeah. Another
it feels very Nintendo.
Yep. Another crab's treasure. As a hermit crab who's lost his shell, you're on an adventure to reclaim it. There you go.
All right.
Penny's Big Breakup or Breakaway. Yeah. Okay. Suika game, multiplayer mode expansion, whatever. Pepper Grinder. Okay. Pocket Card Jockey. Hey, here we go. Here's a game I recognize. Contra.
I'm not gonna lie, Tony. I could have sworn that you could have made up half those games, and I would have never known.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, Nintendo, man. Anyway, Contra Operation Galuga.
Yeah,
Galuga, not Galaga.
This game is made by the guys who made Contra 4 Way Forward, so it's a little bit of a trek back into the Contra franchise.
Cool.
Has nothing to do with the one that I worked on, obviously.
Yeah.
So this is sort of I would say this game is more of like a soft reboot of the Contra franchise. So I know you have more characters.
Because I know there was a rumor saying that they were going to do a throwback Contra. I guess this is probably it.
Yeah, this is it. It's the redo, pretty much retelling the story of Bill and Lance. But there's also in this one there's a lot of other characters.
Yeah.
So And this one's getting a limited run. This is also getting a limited run physical edition, as is what was the other title that was the Xbox rollover title?
What? Pentiment?
Pentiment, yes. Pentiment is also getting a physical.
Yeah. And yes, Brian, you're right. Those titles I rattled off, they really do sound fake, don't they? It's fucking insane. Rare games on Switch Online. A bundle of classic rare games comes to Nintendo Switch Online, and the games are Snake Rattle and Roll, RC Pro-Am, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, Killer Instinct, and Battle Core. Okay.
There you go.
So two.
And another a good thing to come out of the little partnership between Microsoft and Nintendo. Nintendo gets all these old classic games back.
Yeah, that's cool
on their console.
What else? Endless Ocean Luminous.
Tony hates Endless Ocean.
Yeah,
1.
I'm already. I see a giant whale. I'm like, no, I'm good. Actually, that's a whale shark. That's fine. All right, here's some other ones. Brian, here's another one I'm making up. Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley.
Can you actually just make up a couple and we can see if we can catch the real one?
Yeah, no. The thing is, the last one I'm going to name, or actually, you guys will recognize them.
Yeah, this one's like a puzzle type of game.
Yeah. There's a Demon Slayer game coming.
A Demon Slayer game.
Oh shit, Brian! Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming to Switch. How?
How?
How is that game going to run on that fucking thing?
Everybody's gonna look. It's gonna look like a PlayStation or an old Nintendo game.
Yeah.
I mean, does okay? So I realize I already reached my allotment of talking shit, so I'll just be quick and nice about this. But like, does anybody else notice that there is a distinct flavor or type of game that Switch is leaning towards these days?
Shit.
Like, well, not even that. It's like I don't see a lot of the type of games that are dominating the rest of the gamosphere. And I realize Nintendo does its own thing, but like, and Zelda does a good job of doing that third-person kind of action adventure / open world RPG, blah 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 that every game is, right? Like, but in a world where every game is Assassin's Creed, none of these games are Assassin's Creed, and that might be one of the reasons that like Nintendo fans definitely gravitate towards this. But I also get the feeling it's because Nintendo Switch can't run an Assassin's Creed. Like, I feel like it's hard to explain. Like, I'm feeling the limitations of the hardware in the game announcements that they're making. Is anybody else getting that vibe?
I've been getting that vibe ever since this console came out, man.
I mean, that's fair.
You know. By the way, so they don't even have like the old Assassin's Creed games available on Switch.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a different like there's several.
I thought that's what I'm saying. I thought they did. Yeah.
I feel okay.
Like the
I know how to
Ezio
put it.
trilogy or something. You know.
Yeah, I could
I know
have
how to-
sworn
it
that
feels
they
like
had.
everything on Switch is cottage core.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
I think they had Assassin's Creed 3 on Switch, as well as the game that came out around that same time. I think was Liberation and
Yes.
some other ones.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Blitz. Blitz is our resident Nintendo fact checker. So he says, yes, they do. But there you go. Anyway, that's a Nintendo Direct. Again, like usual with any Nintendo Directs, a bunch of ass. But the most important thing that came out of it was the fact that Xbox games are coming to the system. Really more important, you know, because of the Xbox meltdowns we see on Twitter. But yeah, pretty. Even for Nintendo Direct, this one seemed pretty fucking bad. You know.
Yo, let me get I want to ask you guys real quick.
Yeah. Yo, what's up, man? What's up?
Yo, check this out. Like, for real though, how many are you going to buy a Switch to?
We were asked that question on the Sunday show. You weren't on, Brett. We were asked that. I think Chris said he's going to buy just because Kristen wants to play on it, and that's it.
Brian,
Yeah. Well,
I know I'm going to buy it.
Or you're going to buy one, but they
alternatively-
got you. Why? You know you're going to be disappointed again, man.
Because I have a Nintendo mushroom tattooed across my knuckles. I am in this club for life, whether or not I want to be. Like, I learned to read playing Zelda, man. Like, I also love new toys. Like, so there's that part of me that will never be able to truly leave the fandom. As much as I get frustrated, it's as much of my frustration is it's kind of born out of love, and I just want to see Nintendo modernize.
They won't.
So bad. I know they won't. I know I'm going to be disappointed, but like,
You'll at least get a Switch that is as powerful as a PlayStation 4.
Yo, who's getting subs right now, man? Let's go right now, son. Shout out to everybody. Like,
somebody likes to hear the defeat in my voice.
Blitz, no one said that you're not allowed to enjoy different things, you know?
Yeah, you're allowed to enjoy different things.
Oh, we encourage it, man. By all means, like if you can find.
I only asked Brett why, because I know the ensuing heartache will happen, and he's my friend, and I want him to, you know, not feel bad. But you know, it's because they have a lot. It's just straight up nostalgia berries, man. Like I can't even claim it's anything else. Straight up nostalgia.
What if it was gray?
It's in
like
this
gray.
Yeah.
Oh, like gray and purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gray and purple, or you know, classic Nintendo colors with the gray
See,
and black.
that would just make me so unreasonably happy. And that's one of those things. It's so weird to like see something made entirely out of nostalgia and be like, I don't care. It's kind of like fake tits, right? Like, you know that it's 100% artificial, but that really doesn't make it much less fun.
Yeah. Blitz goes, isn't the Steam Deck technically as powerful as the PS4? Yeah, that's why we liked it, because it's not a fucking Switch, you know?
Yeah, that's the irony, is when I do buy the Switch 2, whenever it fucking comes out, I virtually guarantee you it will be weaker than the Steam Deck I've owned for years.
It probably will be.
And alternatively,
Steam Deck
you know,
2 will be more powerful than the fucking Switch 2, you know?
and
Steam Deck 1 is more powerful than the Switch 2 is going to be.
Would you invest in a Steam Deck 2? I'm sure everybody
Of course.
would be like, fuck yeah, right?
Fuck yeah, I'm buying that shit day one, you know?
I would say this if the rumors are correct and there is a Steam home console idea,
Yeah.
I would definitely invest in
Hey,
that.
there you go. Get your PC games, you know?
Yeah, there you go. Get the PC games in the place where I want to play them, in my living room, not on
you
this
go.
fucking computer.
Although,
Well, also-
Manny, technically, you could buy like a dock for your Steam Deck and hook it up to your TV. Technically.
It only works so well.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. I think
I could
Valve,
theoretically get a
only
laptop
company-
and play it through my.
You can, yeah. But I'm saying, like, you could take the Steam Deck with you when you go on trips.
Bah!
Yep.
Got my V.
I think Valve's the only company who has my true brand loyalty. Because honestly, in like 30 years, Valve has just been pretty fucking good. They've not really cared. They've encouraged piracy because it increases their bottom line. They've encouraged people to break open their games and write their own stuff. They've even hired them from it. They created an entire game service, Steam, just because we didn't have a great option. I mean, like, I can't really, like, there are bad things to be said about Steam, I'm sure, but like, for the most part, I can't think of a brand I could blindly trust and then not be disappointed several times.
Yeah, no, Valve's awesome. Oh wait, we got to give the shout out to Dirty Definitely. He's the one that was handing out all those subs. So shout out to him.
Oh,
Man.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. That's Dirty Definitely, man. That dude's been with
Thank
us
you,
since
sir.
day one, man. Shout out to him. You know, Dio was another longtime fan in the house. You know,
That's a name for the past.
yeah, Dio, man. He goes.
No, Dio's still around. He still messages us. We get his messages every so often.
Okay, I don't see messages. So for all you talking mad shit on me in the messages,
Yeah,
I don't even see this shit. I just get kind of told about it later. So
yeah.
No, Dio doesn't talk
No,
smack.
he doesn't
but-
talk smack.
but-
I believe.
No, I know.
I believe you met him too at New York Comic Con.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I did. He's cool dude. Yeah, no, I just joke that y'all hating on me in the
Yeah.
comment section
Like,
all
yo,
the time,
talk.
but I don't really care like that.
Yeah.
I love y'all guys.
He goes, the next portable for me is the MSI portable. Yeah, MSI Claw, you know, is coming. And
Shit, I don't know about this.
Brett, I've been talking about this. I covered it and everything, man. It's hilarious. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when they announced it during CES. Yeah, MSI, they're coming out with their own because everybody's coming out. It's like I tell you, the Steam Deck opened the floodgates, man. You know,
Well, I knew everybody was coming out with one of their own. I didn't know MSI was like one to watch. Like, all right, it's got your attention, it's got my attention. Let's see what's up.
yeah, it's good.
Just wait until Sony comes out with theirs.
Yeah, right. And Ace,
Why? So they can not release games on it for 2 years?
shit. All right, man. Moving on here. Got to talk about the Suicide Squad, man.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. We actually do because Warner Brothers during their, like a investors meeting or whatever,
Yeah, 'cause
said
it's,
that
fiscal year stuff.
fiscal year stuff. So basically, they said that the game has fallen short of their expectations. Yeah, no shit. Basically, they literally said they were expecting this game to be big enough to carry them through the rest of the year. Now they said they're going to just struggle when it comes to gaming because of this.
well, because they put all their eggs in a fucking rotten basket.
Yeah, live service
Like
basket.
anybody who enjoys these games, enjoys the Rocksteady games, could have told those motherfuckers, no, we don't want Rocksteady to be making fucking was it service games? Is this again, like I said before, this is the same mistake Friggin' what? With Anthem. Who made Anthem?
BioWare.
BioWare. What are they known for?
Yeah, story-driven games. And let's keep
Story-driven
it,
games.
let's keep the train
Crystal
going.
Dynamics.
Crystal
What
Dynamics.
are they known for making?
Yep, exactly. Story-driven games.
But keeping it real, most of those guys left and started a new gaming company that has a game coming out soon.
They left, and what does that tell you? It tells you that what the higher ups
Same
over there
thing.
were probably not.
Hold on, man. You're right. BioWare, fucking Rocksteady. You notice how these guys are now going off and doing their own studios, right?
The real guys who created those companies.
Isn't that something?
Doing their own things.
Let's keep it going, right? Because there's other ones. Our favorite, Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory had a spotless record until they released that live service bullshit. Bleeding Edge. Fuck that up. What else? There's another company
I suspect. Here's the thing. Though I suspect Bleeding Edge didn't spend a significant amount of money on Bleeding Edge. That's why they could probably deal with that sort of loss.
Yeah. In this case,
in a situation like. With a situation like Suicide Squad, with a situation like the Marvel's Avengers, a friggin' thing that stunk so bad the stink got onto a game that was legitimately good that they released.
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy game.
And it also legitimately cost them a lot of money. You know, like they said, they suffered. But anyway, I want to read this. This is from IGN. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has fallen short of our expectations, Warner Brothers Discovery has said. Speaking during a financial call, Warner Brothers Discovery Chief Financial Officer Gunnar, I can't pronounce his fucking last name, admitted Rocksteady's game hadn't done the business the company had hoped for since it went on sale on February 2nd for $70. It had fallen short of expectations. Warner Brothers Discovery failed to mention a sales figure for Rocksteady's game, but did say Suicide Squad failure had set up the company's games business for a tough year-on-year comparison. That's fucking bad. But remember last year they had a big hit with the fucking Hogwarts game. You know, they
had the Hogwarts game. Yeah, because they made the mistake of putting everything, all their eggs in that one basket, right? The service basket, like a certain PS company. Putting all of their eggs into that service basket and not having all those, having the other games within that line. They literally launched 2 service games, almost back to back, which was the stupid Gotham Knights and this one.
Oh my god! Okay, so
because they thought they could maximize their profit and do instead of essentially not developing games and just doing updates.
Yeah,
they're not fucking Destiny, and even Destiny didn't launch with a fucking spotless record. The only thing is that thing was good enough to where at least they could fix it along the way.
Pretty much, yeah. I want to read this. This is a quote, very telling here. This year, Suicide Squad was one of our key video game releases in 2024, has fallen short of our expectations since its release earlier in the year, setting our games business up for a tough year over end. So, yeah, they were expecting this to be the game, and look what happened.
I kind of feel like it was a bold move to even bring this up. They clearly had to because they had sunk enough into it.
The thing about...
But, holy shit.
Yeah, I feel like the better idea would have been maybe investing a little bit more into DC Universe Online, maybe doing something like that, something that already has the ear of the zeitgeist, but essentially just giving it that little bump as opposed to throwing so much into this one thing.
I mean, dude,
I would say this: Rocksteady. I don't know how adept Rocksteady is at doing online games, but they did literally hire a company that I worked for, Unbroken Games, to essentially assist them with this game. Who created a game that did pretty decently, but they were known for having good online code and assisting them with this game. So it obviously means that Rocksteady was out of their depth, and they had to hire out another company in order to assist them with this task. They shouldn't have went down this road.
They really, well, Warner Brothers probably didn't give them a choice.
And you see all the backpedaling they did. Initially, this game was not supposed to be part of the Arkham universe. All of a sudden, now it's in the Arkham universe to try to attract people to play.
Yeah, fucking sneaky shit, man. All right, I want to read this part. This is pretty fucking bad, man. Warner Brothers Discovery's comment perhaps doesn't come as much surprise given Suicide Squad's high-profile struggles. On Steam, the live service game peaked at... By the way, I got to say this. I love how... Remember, IGN was denied a review code. Every single time there's bad news about this game, IGN's the first one to post about it. Love it.
That's like Jeff Keighley whenever somebody mentions E3.
Yeah, check this shit out. Here's some numbers. On Steam, the live service action game peaked with 13,459 concurrent players. 13,000 people, bro. A figure that has fallen dramatically since launch. At the time of this article's publication, just 480 people were playing it. Wow. Brian, what's it at right now? But let's look this up. At the time of Throwdown recording, you know.
So,
go ahead, Rich.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are the 480 people playing the game the people who actually work for the studio? Or is it actual players?
I don't know. That's a good question. It might be bolstering the numbers there, you know? Oh, my God.
Okay, hold on. Like, just because we talked about this earlier, what did you say their peak concurrent players were?
Basically, 13,500.
Okay. I just want to, because we talked about it earlier. Do you remember what Palworld's concurrent peak players were?
Was it like 1 million or 2 million or something crazy?
2,101,867.
Jesus.
No.
Oh,
The
Brian.
numbers get even better, Tony.
So wait. Better for us, but worse for Suicide Squad, I'm guessing.
Depends which numbers you want to poke at.
Okay.
To be fair, the current players as of 24 minutes ago and the current peak is around 900 players.
Okay.
So it's jumped back up. But in terms of the peak concurrent players, I've been looking at the Steam charts just to see what games that are there. No Man's Sky currently, right now, has 11,000 players. No Man's Sky.
Wow.
You know, in terms of a game that right now has more players than Suicide Squad ever did, the closest one I can see is Fallout 4 with 13,600 players.
And
right
even
now.
that's still more.
So
Yeah,
Fallout 4
that's
right
right
now has more than the peak of Suicide Squad ever had. It's a slaughterhouse. Like, it's bad.
So IGN said, and this is funny because I'm reading, I'm like, yo, did they take something from my review? They didn't, but it's because everybody agreed. A repetitive and bland looter shooter that, despite an engaging story, I disagree with the engaging story part, never stays fun for long enough. Yeah, it's just fucking boring. As a matter of fact, this was the lowest I have scored a game since Godfall, it was Godfall, right? The fucking PS5 game, or was it the God Hand? Whatever.
Godfall.
Godfall.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was the lowest I've scored a game since then. The only reason I didn't give it lower than a 2 is because it isn't technically broken. You know, I scored Forspoken higher than this shit, and Forspoken sucked. You know, but at least it looked fucking nice. You know, and the world was kind of interesting. You know, this was just, the gameplay was boring. And the way the characters were depicted was fucking insulting to longtime fans, you know?
I mean, okay, but even before I find something really, really interesting here. And that's that despite the bad reviews, despite the inaccurate source material, bland graphics, boring game loop, literally, despite everything that's horrible about this, like, we've seen games about as horrible not hit this low. I think what we're really seeing here is a tipping point in disdain for games as a service, because like as soon as it was like, this is games as a service, nobody even gave it the chance to be as bad as it is. Everybody was already checked out immediately. And then don't get me wrong, the bad reviews also hurt, but I think people are just like, yeah, no, this thing never had a fucking chance, even if it was good. And then it wasn't good on top of that, so like it definitely sealed its fate. But I get the feeling that I've seen games be bad like this before, and people will buy them out of hope or desperation or brand loyalty or curiosity or any number of things. Like, I don't know if even being as bad as it is could account for its low performance. Does that make any sense at all?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're trying to get at here. This poor performance isn't necessarily just because the game is bad, but because it's a live service game. Yeah,
and it has
I agree.
Of live service game all over it.
Yeah, I agree with you because you're right. Like, because people were like, "Oh shit, Rocksteady, another DC game, let's fucking go." The instant they said live service, nobody cared anymore. That enthusiasm was gone. So I agree with you on that. I think people are finally getting tired of this shit. But the thing is, companies are now just catching up. That's why it's insane because we're still seeing more live service games. But
it's the thing.
You can't just stop development.
You can't at this point in time. These things have already been years in development. It's either release it,
just like Suicide Squad was.
Either release it or just you can't. So
this is why I think Sony changing gears on 6 of those 12 live service games is super interesting because if you look at it in terms of like, well, how far in development they are, they turned around the ones that could be turned around, canceled the ones that could be recouped, and then just said, fuck it, we'll push the other ones out, which doesn't look good. It doesn't show a bright future for Sony, but what it does show is when you see a company like that eating that many resources, just losing out, canceling things, pivoting, changing directions, that to me is a sign that not only is the industry sick of these fucking games, but the big companies that make them are starting to get the message. It's going to take time to move those, to change that, but I think that message has been heard finally.
But what's interesting about all of this, then you have amidst all of this, you have something like Helldivers, which did better than they expected, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely an outlier.
But I also think they didn't nearly spend as much money as they did on a lot of their other titles.
Well, doesn't Palworld fit into this whole category?
I mean, it should because we're wait. I mean, if you're talking about live service game like Palworld, no, not really.
Because it's not the typical live service game, but it is kind of the early access multiplayer. Build as you go. It's gonna get bigger. Just keep investing in our game.
Kind of. The thing is, like, there's no service to it, nor is it live. Like, it's you host a server. It's a multiplayer game, but you host a server. It's less live service than, say, like the Dark Souls games are. It follows more in the footsteps of Valheim and Ark, where you can have a server, but you kind of do your own. Like, there are never going to be any microtransactions in these types of games for the most part because there's just not a place for them in the way that it's built because you're not connecting to a server somewhere. You're connecting to your friend's computer.
The most that they could possibly do is just charge for like an expansion.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the very nature of it doesn't lend itself well to be predatory, I think is what I'm trying to say.
But going back to Helldivers real quick, Brett, I think that kind of shows you why these companies keep doing that because they just need that one hit. But
see, that's the lesson they should be learning though. Like, okay, so Helldivers is a $40 game that they didn't invest as much money in, that they didn't necessarily lean on being a success, so they let the developers kind of do a lot of the, guide themselves. Like, it had the right amount of funding, of freedom, and it was a double. Like, you can make a lot of these games for the price of one Suicide Squad, and if any of them hit off, you are looking good. That's what made PlayStation 2 one of the most successful, like, consoles fucking ever, even in terms of, like, not even just sales, but, like, in terms of how much people loved it, because they could just fucking churn out content, and that's where we need to get again.
And there it goes, and it goes back to what Mr. Layton said, that Sony needs to get a hold of their extravagant spending, and start putting out smaller experiences, things that don't kill them.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be internally. I mean, if Microsoft and especially like Valve has always been really good about letting these experiences kind of flourish and then funding the ones that rise to the top. I mean, you don't even honestly have to take the risk. Just allow more indie games into your space. And like, if we're talking, like, if I want to like talk shit on consoles, like, here's where it would come in. Sony, because you have such a restrictive platform and because you have a restriction on things like early access games, you are fucking missing out on Palworld. That is big, right? It's not a Microsoft exclusive. You just don't allow early access games, and that is going to limit you from getting some of the bigger hitting games, just because sometimes and oftentimes a game really hits in early access because that's where the experimental stuff happens. That's where the innovation happens. And if you were locking yourself out of that room just entirely, and Microsoft is allowing them to play in their playground, that's a bad look. You tell me I'm never going to get a Palworld, I'm never going to get a Valheim, I'm never going to get any of these games until what? 5 years after they've been popular and they finally release in full-fledged form? Because some of these early access games, they're coming out pretty fucking finished. They're coming out with a solid experience from the get-go and then adding content for 5 years and just making money. And then after that 5 years, they can sell off. Sure, then you'll get it, but that's just going to put in everybody's mind that you're behind the times. So, like, you don't even have to spend all the money. Just allow experimentation in your space. By not spending the money and not allowing that, you're really shooting yourself in the foot here. Microsoft didn't even do anything to earn Palworld. It just fucking happened.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Anything else you guys
Hold
want
on, hold on.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, these numbers are so so great.
We almost forgot.
Doing it in lifetime, man.
All right. So I've just been going through the Steam charts and just laughing because it's brilliant. So okay, I'm gonna keep it brief. So I'll ignore the Dark Souls 3 one. That was not that fun. Okay, so there's this one game which in the last 30 days has had a peak player count of 12,500 players, and it's currently sitting right now at 8,000 players. This game is Fallout 76.
Oh, wow.
I feel almost validated now.
Yeah.
It gets even better. But there's another game which currently has 3,500 players at the moment. This game is Dying Light 1.
Damn. Dying Light 1.
So more people... That's the thing that got me. I'm like, who? 6,500 people. So what's that? 8,900. Almost four times more people playing Dying Light than Suicide Squad.
That's wild, man. Yeah, Suicide
That's
Squad
what I mean, like,
definitely committed suicide, man. Crazy. All right, you guys have any more thoughts on Suicide Squad? Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I do want to make a comment.
Yeah.
I will say this. I guess we can now come to the conclusion that Warner Brothers has discovered this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because we already know. You already know Warner Brothers Discovery, right? As soon as that acquisition happened, this is when they decided to make all these changes. And like you guys mentioned earlier, Hogwarts Legacy, that was a big seller for them last year. That game doesn't have any microtransactions. I'm pretty sure they let the developers make whatever game they wanted to make. But obviously, when you come in and you take a Rocksteady, you know what they're good for. You decide, no, we need them to make something totally different. This is the type of stuff that could happen. They need to let these developers stick to what they do best instead of deciding to do something for the sake of money and trying to do all this other stuff. Or do what Brett said and make a smaller game. Don't put so much money into these other games like that, especially the live service stuff. But
it's literally the equivalent of like, you take like, an awesome basketball player, then have him play baseball instead. It's like,
yes, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, no, that's not your expertise, man.
Like, yeah, man. I mean, the only sometimes you get an anomaly like Bo Jackson who could literally do everything, right? He can play it all. But not everybody's like a Bo Jackson. Some people just got their lane.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on. Let's talk about a game we actually care about. Elden Ring. We got our first glimpse of Shadow of the Erdtree DLC.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, Brett, I'll let you go off. I'll say this right now. I haven't watched the trailer, and I won't watch the trailer because I'm already sold. I'm getting this shit. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to convince me. I already know there's going to be hot fire, But go ahead, Brett. What would you think of? Actually, I'll watch the trailer now while you're talking.
Bruh, same. Like, yeah, I'll put the trailer on again because, like, I guess I'll watch it. But, like, for the most part, I'm going to go in blind. But holy shit, the amount of things that I had seen and just that the way that, like, there's an itch. There's a Mikola itch that has just been needing to be fucking scratched. And they're like, hey, baby, you want me to get that for you? Like, oh, it's so good. That fucking bicycle kick? What the fuck, man? There's going to be there's so much new cool shit. There's like, I'm just straight up fanboy foaming at the mouth. I can't even form coherent sentences. I am so goddamn excited.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like sizable. Like, it's a big map.
Oh, dude. Like they always, like, FromSoft has never not just, every time they do a DLC, it is just hot fucking fire. And a significant chunk, too. And they're charging $40 for this one.
Yep.
So it is going to be the size of, like, probably most fucking games.
Probably, yeah. And it said it's going to be even more challenging than the base game,
Oh, God. There's a new swamp. I don't know why I'm so excited, because that's terrible, but there is a new swamp.
Yeah.
Like, just all the new areas that they showed. Oh, my God. And
there's a new horrible hell for you to slog through.
I'm like, I just saw 3 different versions of hell right now. I'm watching this trailer. Like,
but Brett, they were thinking of you, man. I saw that kick, and I'm like, that's Brett right there.
Dude, as soon as I saw the kick, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I must have it.
Yeah.
That's Brett with his insect glaive moves.
Oh, I cannot wait to bust out the jukes. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm just like, do I take the character with, like, fucking volcano magma powers and 2 pickaxes? Or my fucking bleed whip? Oh, God. Dual whips. I'll say it now, and I'm only going to say it once because I don't want everybody biting this shit, but oh my God, fucking dual whips is slept on. It is so slept on. Ask Chris. I murk motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask Carlos, are you going to play?
Actually, no. Before that, Carlos, are you going to go on any vacations during this?
I saw the release date and I saw my calendar. I think we're good.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I mean, this is how good Elden Ring is. Elden Ring is the exception to the rule.
Yes.
Because the rule of the Carlos vacations. Elden Ring's the only one that survived.
Yeah. Yeah. We were playing the game with Carlos, right? Carlos went on vacation for, was it a month almost? A couple weeks? Right?
Yeah, I went to New York for a month.
You came back and we were still playing this shit. We hadn't progressed more than when you left off because there's just so much to do in the game, Oh,
that's one of the great things about this game, man.
Give me this shit.
We saw. I don't know if someone posted this on the Throwdown Discord or I saw this on Twitter somewhere, but it's like, it's funny how they post DLC for Elden Ring, it's gonna be worth $40. Normally, when a $40 DLC is gonna show up, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Damn, they're price gouging the hell out of it just the freaking DLC." And from software fans, Elden Ring fans, and everyone that's excited, it's like, "Damn, they must have packed this freaking game up."
Yeah,
So, man. I'm excited. This is, I can't wait to go back. Yes, Chris, I cannot wait to go back. Elden Ring is probably a top 10 game of all time for me. I think it's already in the club.
Elden Ring's one of those games for like a year afterwards. I was just like, I want to go back and play it, man. Like replay it. Like after getting the platinum, I'm like, I want to go back.
Dude, I just when I first played it, like Tony, I kind of went to Tony and I was just like, bro, like, in this weird daze, and I'm like, I don't know how to process this. This is probably in my top 3 to 5 games of all time, and like, I know it as I'm playing my first playthrough. Like, I'm not even hyping this shit up. I'm like, how can this game be this good? Like, I knew it as I was playing it. That never fucking happens, right? It's always afterwards you look back and you're like, that was really good experience. Like, you're not a third of the way into the game. You're like, bro, this is it, man.
You know what's funny? And again, this is all documented, right? Before the game came out, when the reviews started dropping, a lot of the reviewers were like, this is easily one of the best games of all time. Fucking incredible, instant masterpiece. And at the time, I said, you guys need to chill the fuck down. We can't just say it's a masterpiece. A week after I played, I'm like, yo, I get it. Yep. You guys called it. You guys called it. You weren't wrong about this. No hyperbole here, Fucking amazing game, man.
It never happens too. Like, that game was so hyped. Like, the hype train on it was going at just light fucking speed. And somehow when it came out, it was still slept on. Like, I don't know how that's humanly possible. To this day, I'm still like, nothing will ever do that again. Nothing will ever be as anticipated and then surprisingly good as that was. It was just, I've never seen it in my entire gaming career except for once. And the memes,
the memes were fucking glorious.
Well, I mean, as long as there's no Horizon DLC coming out at the same time.
Oh man, yeah, Elden Ring.
The memes, the legends.
Yeah, the
shout
legends.
out to Let Me Solo Her.
Yeah, let me solo her. That my man.
That dude has been hibernating, man.
He is fucking ready. He's going to go and murk her whole goddamn family by himself.
That's going to be crazy. So, yeah, that's coming out. When is this dropping? It's dropping in
July, I think.
July.
I thought it was June 22nd.
That's perfect. Summer.
I'm going to literally take the weekend off from work.
Oh, man. Yeah, I may have to work from home that week. Because that's what I did, too, when I was playing Elden Ring with you guys. Like, I'm working from home, so after 5 o'clock, I start playing the game, So good, man. All right, speaking about good games, and this is the reason we decided to do the show on a Friday night. Got to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, people. Review embargo lifted a week before the game launches, which you'll know what that means. The critics like it. The critics like it a lot. This critic right here, Mr. Tony Polanco, likes it a lot. The reason we're doing this now is because the embargo lifted yesterday, but we weren't able to do the show yesterday. But I want to talk about this game, It's everything you've heard about it is great. Yes, Tifa looks that good in the game. That's the meme today.
Oh my God. My God.
Yeah, I was like, when I got to that part, I was like, God bless Japan.
Yeah, you know what? They're really holding it down. Like, it's so weird to see a character like not giving them the treatment. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just like, oh my God, like, God damn, you like meme hot girl, like, oof. I know that the first Tifa was kind of like a bit of a steamy symbol, and they read the room on that one, man.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah, get ready to mass produce those waifu pillows, because fuck.
I've seen a lot of Tifa, fan art in the last couple of days for obvious reasons, especially that scene. You know
how many figures they're gonna sell?
Yeah, I mean they did because they redesigned her and stuff for this game, and it's like, oh, obviously you made her even hotter this time. But besides
they redesigned Tifa. What they doing?
Yeah. But anyway, get into the game. So obviously it takes place after the last game. And I think I could talk about the last game now. It's been like 4 years. Okay. The way that game ended made me think like, oh shit, I don't know what's going to happen with this game. But no, for the most part, it's sticking to all the main things you remember from the original game in different kind of reconfigurations and stuff. But it's generally going about the same pace. And I will say it's more of the same of remake, but that's a good thing because remake was fucking good. It's just more of it. You get this giant fucking world, and like later on, it actually starts becoming more interconnected because at first it's just big maps and stuff. But then like later on, like I don't know how much I can spoil because Brett, just like with Elden Ring, I didn't watch a single trailer for this game. I'm like, I'm already hooked. I'm already sold. So I don't know what is or isn't a spoiler. All I know is I can't talk about anything after Chapter 7, so I'll keep it at that. But yeah, the world's pretty sprawling. Although I did get kind of bored with some of the missions on the actual map and stuff, like go kill this monster, go do this tower. Yeah, they were bold enough to bring towers back. Remember now when I was a thing in open world games, they brought towers back. But the actual side missions that you do for NPCs, they're all worth it, And one of the things I missed from Final Fantasy 16 was like every dungeon in 16 was all just straightforward linear paths. Not in this one. You go into a dungeon, you're like, I'm going to be here for like 3 hours because there's just so many different branching paths, so many different elevations and stuff. Obviously, the graphics looked really good. I heard there was like a weird thing with the 1080p mode, performance mode. It was like blurrier than it was supposed to be, but they patched that now. I actually stuck with quality mode, even though I had to suffer. I had to get used to 30 frames a second. And this is one of those games where I'm like, I can't wait until it comes to the PC, so I don't have to compromise, because it looks nice at 60 frames, but it's all blurry. But then you get the quality, the textures are sharper, but then it's like jittery until you get used to it, But yeah, if you like the first game, remake, you're gonna love this one. If you don't like remake, you won't like this one either. It doesn't really do anything different combat wise or anything like that. But the game is fantastic, man. Like I gave it, a Tony high score, 4.5, which is the highest I give a game. It's the only thing I'm not too fond of is there are way too many mini games, right? And here's the thing: if you could avoid all of them, that'd be fine. Some of them you have to do to progress the story. Like if you for example, there's like a new card game, like an in-game card game called Queen's Blood. There are some instances where you need to complete it to move on, and if I don't know what the fucking rules are, I'm like, oh. I don't think I've ever played a single video game where the rules of the card games make any fucking sense. So I just put shit down on the table and hope for the best. So the mini games get a little too in your face and stuff, but at the same time, I kind of also appreciate that there's so much gaming variety. Like you don't get, like I'm playing, so I'm like, damn, you really get your $70 worth of this game. They have so much shit there. You're not just doing the same things over and over and over again. Even though, like I said, some of the on-world missions or map missions could be repetitive, but like the variety of like individual gameplay in there is like nuts. Like it's kind of harkening back to the original. Remember how the original had a bunch of different types of gameplay in it? This one does too, even more so than remake, which is insane, especially in an age now where you buy a $70 game, you're like, I don't know if I got my money's worth. Like this shit feels complete, and I don't really foresee Final Fantasy fans being upset. It's fucking awesome, man. So
well, see, I'm telling you,
yeah,
it's the closest we're getting to the current gen renaissance right now. Like we're living it up, soak it in because it's gonna go back down.
And Brett, I want to say, and I threw a little jab at other games here. When I'm playing this, okay, you know how we've gotten a lot of cash grab remakes that are just cynical and shit. Last of Us 2, I'm looking at you. I'm like, you could tell these people, the developers, they care about this game and they care about the fans. I'm like, that's missing in gaming now with big budget gaming. So it was very nice to just get that. Again, you get your fan service in the game. They're not shying away from that stuff. Like, hey, you like hot girls? Here you go. It's good stuff. But no, you can tell it's like, okay, people have a fondness and reverence for the original game. Let's not insult that. I appreciate it. It didn't feel like a cheap cash grab like the fucking Last of Us.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Tony.
Not like The Last of Us, but you know what it is like? Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, well, they care. That's another studio that you could tell they care. Go ahead. Yeah, and obviously I'll open it up now to questions. What's up, Carlos?
So I have a question, and let me know if you can or can't answer this question.
Before you ask that, I will answer another question for you. Yes, you can ride
It's your game of the year.
chocobos. No, you can ride chocobos.
Well, it's good to know right now before I start the game. Okay, that's good. That was a good question. Second question. This is the second of 3 Final Fantasy VII remakes.
Yeah, from what I understand.
Does this game end story-wise, sort of, at least to you, like around the 2/3 part of the game, or?
Well, here's the thing.
Does it?
Is this disc 2?
Yeah, it is disc 2. Here's the thing. But again, just full disclosure, I didn't finish the game. I'm 79% done. So, but even if I did finish it, I wouldn't answer that question. You know, not publicly. You know.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, and I also like the fact that even though it's the middle game, it still feels substantial. It takes a little while to kind of ramp up. I will admit that, like story wise, for like the first like couple hours, you're like, where's the impetus here? What's the drive? I know we're going after Sephiroth, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of urgency going on here. You know?
Whoa! Spoiler.
No, you know, just being honest.
I'm kidding, man.
Brad's being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like, I was like, come on, guys. That's why I kind of complain about the mini games. Like, I'm doing all these mini games. Where's the urgency here? You know. So
Well, you know, it's that it's that Link thing, man. Like, yeah, I gotta save the princess, but I gotta have hobbies too.
Yeah, it's like I gotta chase these boogles around. You know.
I got fishing to do. I'll save the world when I'm done fishing.
Yeah.
Gotta play my card games.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a fishing mini game in this. You know.
Oh.
But who knows, man? I'm kidding.
Yo, are the weapons in this?
Yes, I could say that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll say that.
I
But
have
again,
another
like I
question.
said, not the way you remember them, you know. But the weapons are in this.
I heard from another reviewer mention that the way that the characters are fleshed out in this game is really well done. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I like that because like every character gets their time to shine, you know. And here's another thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't think this is something anybody's going to really appreciate until they replay the game a few times, because there's like a relationship system. The original game had this too, right? Where it was like if you do certain actions with certain characters, you could actually build your relationship with them. That has it in here too, and you could actually see like a visual sign of it. And it's supposed to alter the story, but I'm like, how are you supposed to know how it alters it unless you play the game again and do something different? You know what I mean?
I mean the thing about it is that it altered the story. It altered the story slightly in the original Final Fantasy, but it was never to the point where it affected the main plot.
Yeah.
Didn't it affect Vincent and Yuffie's story?
And they were
Vincent and Yuffie's weren't even like characters that you could get in the main path.
Those characters were actually put into the game kind of not last minute, but later on in development. You know?
Yeah, but I thought it wasn't. It's been a hot minute since I played. Wasn't there like I know there was a Vincent storyline they had to do to get to his final form. Did that involve a relationship, or was that just his storyline?
No, it was just his story. Like again, you could follow his little plot because he did have like a little once you did get him, he did have some extra additional plot stuff. But like the insertion of Vincent and Yuffie in the story don't actually affect your ending, or they don't even appear in the ending. If you they're not even there. Because they were just supposed to be special characters. Yeah, but
they're optional. You could actually skip them entirely.
You can actually totally skip them. The relationship system is if you it has to do, at least in the original game, it had to do with Tifa or of Aerith. Yeah. But this is something that you could do all the way from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like you could when you were in Midgar, you could choose whether one, and then it would affect what would happen in the wall market, like who would appear at certain points and different. Those remember those little tiny decisions. Like every Final Fantasy game had them.
Yeah, they changed the flavor text. Like
the flavor text got a little, and then maybe events played out slightly different.
Yeah, in this,
you could hit on one of the characters over the other too. Like you could, they would give you different things to say, and you'd be like one that was more Tifa centric, one that was more Aerith centric, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Already.
So in this game, the best analogy I could give is Mass Effect. There's some points where you're talking to a character and they ask you a question. You have a conversation wheel and you select an answer, and depending on your answer, your relationship status will go up. And then there's also certain missions. I'm not going to say they're character missions, but they're missions that the character has a more affinity for. And if you do the mission, it will also raise the relationship status. But one thing that does affect gameplay wise is when your relationship status with a character goes to a certain point, you'll actually unlock, because they're called synergy moves. It's basically two characters doing a super move together. So you could unlock more of those with a specific character, the better your relationship is with them. So it's not just like story wise; it's also like a gameplay thing too.
That's dope.
Which is really really cool.
Okay, I got a weird question for you, Tony.
Yeah.
That I care about. But how did they manage Vincent's limit break in this? Since you don't control his character anyway.
Yeah. I can't answer that. That's after.
Oh!
Yeah, I can't answer that because that's after chapter 7, so I can't discuss that. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, no, the game's dope. Get the game. It's fucking the shit. Rich, are you guys going to be reviewing it for the Coalition? See if Rich is on. There he is.
That is a great question, Mr. Tony Polanco. Yes, at some point we will. When we get the code.
Yeah. And the reason I specifically bring this up is because something I wanted to bring up with you, Rich, like live here. I'm not going to name any names, but I want to get your take on it. Because you noticed that even though the Coalition did not get a code, nobody on the site went on Twitter to complain about it. Because the Coalition cats are professional, right? I saw a couple of guys, even guys that I know personally, that took to Twitter yesterday to complain that Square Enix or 47 or what have you didn't send them codes. And I'm like, you act like that, you're not going to get codes. That's very unprofessional. Remember back in the days with SCF Play, when we didn't get a review code, what we do? We bought the game and reviewed it anyway, didn't complain.
Yeah.
I just thought that was very unprofessional of these guys to do that. And then in certain cases, like one guy's like, I have X amount of followers on YouTube, a few thousand, a good amount. And I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, that's the reason why, because you need 10,000 minimum, So yeah, Rich, what's your take on that? Like people kind of take into Twitter, like, game journalists, and not even big guys. I'm talking about independent guys. Complaining. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's not a good look there,
Well, I agree 100%. It's not a good look. Need to be professional at all times in these situations because you are not guaranteed or owed anything. You can think that you should get a code, but at the end of the day, it really is a matter of building a relationship with these people, learning to understand that sometimes you may get a code or you may not get a code. The Coalition has been around for a long time. In the beginning, when it started, we didn't get a code for every single game. But over time, as we build relationships, we started to get codes. But even still, to this day, there's not a guarantee that you'll get a code all the time. In the case of this game, I know for sure we are going to get a code because I've been in contact with them. I never, ever begged for a code or anything like that. They already had us on a list. It's just that, as I was told, it was a colossal demand for this game. Yeah. So obviously, with the high demand, that means that maybe it's going to be a different type of situation. But the whole time, like I said, I'm totally fine with it, totally cool with it. We are going to have a review for it at some point. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, you definitely cannot approach these situations thinking that you are owed or you deserve to get anything. I mean, this is about being professional, understanding. Sometimes you're going to get stuff. Sometimes you won't get stuff. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, 100% right, man. It's like you just because you have a game website or a game YouTube doesn't automatically guarantee you a code. This is a problem I've seen throughout my entire history as a journalist, where people just think I have a website, I deserve to have this. No, you don't. It doesn't work like that. You got to hustle. You have to hustle.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I also want to add something else here because I did notice some people that did receive codes did reveal some spoilers for certain stuff in the game. There's actually, in that IGN review, I heard there was a ton of spoilers for stuff that's important to the game. And then that's what I don't like also, because clearly they tell you in the embargo what you can and can't talk about. So people are still doing that too, which I don't like that, but they definitely need to be held accountable for that because everyone has the same rules they're supposed to follow with this stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody gets a reviewer guide. Follow the fucking guide, man. They specifically told you do not talk about anything past chapter 7. That's why when some of you guys were asking me questions, I said I can't answer that because I can't. It's insane, man. Kind of it's the entitlement. It doesn't work like that, but I know that's insider baseball stuff, but I know the fans enjoy that type of talk. And Rich, you run a website. I had to pick your brain about that.
Oh yeah.
And again, I've told this story on Throwdown many times, right? Where anytime, Rich, whenever I dropped your name, whenever I went to shows, doors would open. Why? Because you are always treating people correctly. You're always acting professional. People know that in this industry, So that's why you didn't see Rich do some shady shit like that, like some of these guys, And you never will either,
Oh no. But I will say this. There may be some other people we know that might do that.
Yeah, unfortunately,
And one of these individuals, somebody that perhaps used to work for the site. Yes, I am going to take that shot. I'm not going to mention the name. Y'all know, but y'all know. Yeah. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That's somebody that's somebody that I'm sure would be very, would take it very personal and try to, go out their way. So I just want to say that. But I would never do that, though. I'm just saying.
You see, still keeping it classy, Rich. I love it, man. No, man, because you definitely won't gain anything by being an asshole.
Yes, man. Absolutely.
All right, man. Let's move on. A couple of rapid fire things I want to go through before we wrap up here. We're not going to spend too long on these, but we'll chime in. We got to talk about Helldivers 2, people. I don't know if the situation has changed, but I know at some point this week they capped the current player count to 450,000 because the servers were just overloaded. Which
they raised it up like today or yesterday.
How much is it?
To 700.
700,000. That goes to show you that Sony wasn't ready, man. They weren't ready for that.
Well, they didn't. They didn't expect it to do what it did.
Yeah. Helldivers 2.
Again,
yeah. Go ahead.
To be honest, I think that's a better position to be in.
That's true.
Where you're actually having a bunch of people that are the people that are actually willing to even endure that stupid situation where essentially trying to get into the online mode.
Yeah.
Like multiple people have been tried to do it, and they still did it regardless because they were actually having a good time with it. So,
Yeah, Brian, you got any thoughts on this, man?
No, it's good. It's good. That's still keeping traction. So let's hope that it just carries on. Again, good luck to the people at Arrowhead Games. Because I'm sure that they've just blown up after this. So whatever they make next will be very anticipated, given the success of Helldivers. And plus, it means that they now finally have a very successful game under the belt. So I'm sure that they're also very happy about that.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make a quick comment. I heard that there were people that they had their console in idle mode still on.
Yes.
While they were playing this game. So I think this had to happen because, listen, man, they got to let other people get on there. But it's kind of funny to think that they just was trying to stay on as long as possible.
I heard that like people who were idling were like automatically being booted out. Is that true?
That is true. Yep.
Yeah, because
they started doing that.
It's crazy, man. All right, moving on to the next quick thing I want to talk about. Palworld has sold 15 million copies. Holy shit. So it's 10 million. Wait, so hold on. Palworld Early Access tops 15 million sales on Steam. Jesus. And then 10 million.
Just on Steam?
Just on Steam, and then 10 million players on Xbox. Doesn't say sales on Xbox.
Damn.
It says players on Xbox because they're probably just playing it free, But that's fucking impressive, man. Holy shit.
Hey, Brett, what were you saying about giving people what they want?
Yep.
Yeah, give
the people what they need.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
they're
Yeah. Go ahead.
if anything, like this needs to be a wake up call to the industry because it's like it's not even a big team.
Yeah. But pretty impressive. All right. Next thing. Even though we already knew this, they just I don't know how many times Xbox needs to just repeat shit, man. Call of Duty is coming to Xbox Game Pass. We knew this. They've said this before, but they got to keep repeating it. And this also, this one just kind of upset the ponies a little bit, but they weren't as mad as the Xbox guys, but that's coming to Xbox Game Pass, so stay tuned. This
is what I love. During the whole Sony thing, I just wanted take this goddamn minute to throw in and I told you so.
Uh-oh.
During the whole Sony Activision fucking lawsuit, blah 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 blah. We told you that Microsoft just wants to put this shit on every system, and they're not going to take it away from Sony because it's a better look to be like, yeah, you can play it on PlayStation for $70, or you can play it for free on Xbox. Like that's just a better look, a better business decision. You don't force people over when you can coax them over.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. Manny, here you go. Hi-Fi Rush is coming to PS5.
Yay, cool. I mean, makes it, to be honest, I'd said this before, that is a very sort of Sony-like title. So it's nice to see that it's going to come. And the other part of this is that there's going to be a physical release of this game as well.
Yo, man, you getting it?
Yeah, I'm going to buy the physical release, but it's through limited run games, and those of you who order games through limited run games,
it may take a while.
It takes a while. So you obviously, I think you can pre-order the game right now. You can pre-order Hi-Fi Rush on the PlayStation and is it coming to Switch? I think it is.
I'm not sure. I think it is.
It wasn't announced on the thing, but I think it's Switch. Anyway, you can pre-order it. But yeah, it is coming to the becoming physical, and it's literally coming out next month. So
yeah, there you go. And then the last thing here, they released a trailer for Borderlands, the movie, and it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, it's got everybody's favorite. It's got everybody's favorite character everybody's favorite comedian that nobody really cares about, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
No,
I thought you were talking about Jack Black. Yeah, go ahead.
So,
I not a comedian.
Well,
Well, I do want to let Brian go, but can I just ask a question for those of you that have played Borderlands? Who the hell is Kevin Hart playing in this movie?
He's playing
which
Kevin
character?
Hart. He's playing Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart does not play characters. He plays Kevin Hart.
Yes, Manny is right. That is not Roland, that's Kevin Hart. And by the looks of it, judging by the characters, this will be set on Borderlands 2 instead of Borderlands 1. So it means that they got rid of the really interesting characters like Mordecai and Brick for some odd reason. And now we're stuck with Psycho and Lilith. Again, they're not bad characters, it's just kind of like the wrong story. And I have so much problems with this film because I really did love the first two Borderlands. And I love how Tony and I said the same thing about Jack Black at the exact same time. It just shows us that we're on the same wavelength.
Yep.
Nice. It's frustrating because one, it's Borderlands 2 storyline, so they might have to try and circumvent the whole Borderlands 1 story, which again wasn't that good in the first place, so it's fine, but still, there's that. Again, and then there's the issue that I have, which is purely a question of why. Now, Kate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, fantastic actresses. Can't say anything bad about them. Well, you can't take that away from them. They're great actresses. They are not Tannis and they are not Lilith. Lilith and Tannis are like in the 30s, 20s. Jamie Lee Curtis and Kate Blanchett are not that. I'm very sorry, but they look so out of place. And Kevin Hart is like 4 feet too small for the damn role, and it just bugs me so much. And the final thing that most people have been really annoyed at is why on earth did they not get the voice actor for Claptrap instead of just going for Jack Black? Again, you don't see the person, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm in a mix of frustration and just bewilderment at the whole situation. And again, as Tony said, it just looks like Guardians and it feels like Guardians. So I don't know, man. I have zero faith. I honestly have zero faith. Like, if this thing comes out and bombs, then I'll be like, yep, I expected nothing less.
Yeah, I mean,
Yo, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I played 1 and 2 sparingly.
Mm-hmm.
There's on 2. There's what's the name? Jack. You said Jack, right? Like something like the main bad guy.
Handsome Jack.
The one that's Handsome Jack. Who's playing him?
I kind of glazed over once I seen Kevin Hart and Kate Blanchett. It was like, the casting is just so I didn't even notice.
Well, wait a second. Is that character even in this movie? Because I don't think I saw him at all.
Oh,
as I said, I don't remember, and it'd be a shame because again, Handsome Jack was a really good villain, and he was like, he is the reason why Borderlands 3 turned out the way it is, because they would just try to emulate Handsome Jack again, and they couldn't. So we got that like Handsome Jack is like the Borderlands version of Vass, from Far Cry.
Yeah.
Like, everyone remembers Vass. He's iconic, and every villain after that tries to be Vass to some degree, and they can't. And that's the issue with the following games. So
Watch Handsome Jack is being played by Trevor Noah.
Probably, I don't care. I've already seen that they've gender swapped one person, so I'm not surprised. Again, I'm just more annoyed at Tannis and Lilith being played by Kate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just really bad casting, in my opinion. But then again, Roland's been played by Kevin Hart, and I was waiting for him to do his Kevin Hart scream. And you know the scream that I'm talking about, like the one where he just it's so exaggerated that you can just tell that he's faking it, and it's beyond acting. And I was waiting for him to do that, and I was like, please don't do that, because then it means that Roland's just a joke of a character. And Roland's a very serious character. Like, he's ex-military. Like, he is the straight man of the whole franchise. And it's just to see him just be taken down the route of, the punching bag character now. He's just there to make quips. It's like, why? Like, you have serious characters, serious things happen, and I can probably guess that certain plot twists won't happen in this, but even then I'm just like, nah, I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
You sound like me with Fantastic Four. There was a time where I was very excited about a Marvel Studios produced Fantastic Four. Now I don't give a shit. Don't care. Not watching it. Same thing with Deadpool 3. Don't care. I'm done.
I'm so excited for Deadpool.
I hope it's everything you want, man. But anyway, yeah. But Brian, I've never played Borderlands, so I don't care. But this trailer looked very stupid to me. But I also did question. Again, I never played the game, so I'm like, aren't there supposed to be young girls? Like, what the fuck is going on here? But okay, all right, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's take a property that everybody knows and just change it completely. That's smart. It just seems like these people.
Read the source material.
Yeah. Because that's a mandate now. Don't read the source material. People just go for the logo. They just care about the logo.
It would be like if they did like a live action version of Final Fantasy VII, and Tifa is played by Helen Mirren. It's like, why?
Oh my god!
Again, actress is fine. The actress does a great job, but at the same time, it's completely just miscast, and it comes with the issues of having actors that old. Is that they won't be able to do as much action as they do because they're old. This is why when we've seen Beverly Hills Cop, like with Eddie Murphy, like he's getting old now. Like he can't do the stuff that he used to do. So you won't be seeing that again. The same thing with Arnold. Like, he's getting old in his age. Like, and Stallone. Like, they won't be doing the stuff that they did in Commando and stuff because they're not at that age anymore. So you get that limitations, and then. Okay, you have to like dress it up and have a stunt double, and then you have the usual stunt double tricks of you can't show their face, in a helmet, somehow they have the backs to you, blah blah
CG
blah.
face.
Like,
Yeah, oh god.
and all that stuff. And it's just I wouldn't say that there's no need for it, but it just kind of annoys me that they do that. So yeah, I'm not fussed about it. I think when it comes out, I'll just play the second game just to get a better experience. And for the fun of it, because I was going down the list of the Steam charts, Borderlands 2 has current Steam players of 2,000 people.
How many?
Just as a 2,000.
Okay. Still more than Suicide Squad.
Yeah. That's why I want to highlight that. I'm like, how has Borderlands 2 still got players? Again, that's a PS3 game.
It's amazing.
Because people enjoyed it, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, incredible, man. All right, man, that's going to do it for us for this Friday show. But we'll be back on Thursday as usual. But yeah, good times with the game industry, man. I'm very happy. Yeah, go play Final Fantasy, man. Like, yeah, again, you know how I've been pretty much down on this generation. It's very nice. It's so good to get a game that makes me happy, you know? Like, I'm like, oh, I remember this feeling, you know? Don't really get that too
Final Fantasy VII, Elden Ring DLC, Dune 2. We can hang our hats on those things at least.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you don't get a lot of fleeting like moments of light, you know, in terms of entertainment these days. But those lights are shining a little brighter. The few lights that are there, you know. Oh, Dune 2, give me that movie, man. You know.
Oh man, that shit next week, dude.
Man, you coming to New York, man? We seeing that shit? Doing it again?
Well, you bought the tickets already,
I did, yeah.
motherfucker. Of course I'm going to do it.
You better. I'm gonna go with some random homeless guy. You know, there's plenty of
No,
those.
you don't want to bring that guy. He'll just be laughing in the theater. Yeah.
Like that asshole, Lord of the Rings. Oh, yo, so check this out. So we were to go see Fellowship of the Ring, right? First movie. There was this bum, like, just laughing the whole movie. And man, he's like, yo, if you want to go see a comedy, they're playing upstairs, you know? Then the guy stopped laughing, but you could still hear him chuckling, right? But he really started chuckling to himself when Boromir died, you know? He's like, like, dude, who let this dude in, man? You know?
Crackhead, this random dude. Yeah. And I knew it was something up seeing this dude with his fucking cart in there. I'm like, oh, fucking, here we go. Homeboy snuck through the back of the theater at the exit sign. And now we got this motherfucker in the movie.
You know, Manny, random, I was just thinking about this. I don't think you look intimidating enough, man. Because, like, you're a big dude, yet people still come to you, hey, man, let me ask you a question. You know,
yeah,
so
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I got a nice face. Maybe
I think that's what it is. You look very friendly. You know,
look friendly.
Yeah,
it's those baby blues.
It's like why you always, like, for example, nobody does that with Mike, that big mother, because you guys are the same size. You know, same height.
They're the same size. Yeah. That's what I think it is. I think I have a nice face.
Yeah.
Mike is imposing.
Let me ask you a question.
What was this?
Like, when they want to ask you a question, you know what it is. They want some money, you know?
I'm like, no, I know what the fucking question is.
Yeah. Ace Ali says that you look approachable. Yeah, pretty much. You know? Like you say, hey, I want to talk to this guy. You know, he looks cool. I mean, that's what happened. That was even true in school. When I first saw you middle school, not middle school.
Middle school, dude.
Yeah, it was middle school, but we called it something, junior high school. And I was like, like, Navarro was like, hey, my friend Manny. I'm like, hey, this guy looks cool, you know? And like, I felt the vibe even then, you know? Manny was that tall even back then when he was 13, believe it or not.
I was pretty tall for my age. I mean, I'll tell you the story. I got to see Natural Born Killers without it getting carded or anything.
Yeah.
That's how tall I was as a kid, so...
That's funny, man. But yes,
Question.
Dune 2 and Manny, yes, I will get you that Dune popcorn, the sandworm popcorn.
Let's get it on. Let's do some sandworm.
I gotta
shit, man.
I got a question for the Manny Tony lore.
Uh-oh.
So the fans. I have an interesting question. It's pretty quick.
Uh-oh.
You guys met in junior high / middle school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you both into metal, or did one of you get the other into metal?
No, we both were into it
both
separately.
Into metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you're like, oh, we so happen to like the same music, you know?
Yeah. You just so happen to like the same music.
Yeah. But it was probably
the
original thing was the hook was like video games. And it was like, oh, we also like comics. Oh, we also like metal. You know, it all went together like that. You know, I remember
before I got to know Tony, the only other person that I knew that listened to like metal or rock or anything like that was my cousin Adam.
Yeah. Adam. Yeah.
Yo.
Hey, the Duke.
I mean, with me and Adam, it's like we were so close as kids. Our mom sort of somewhat raised us together because they both at the same time had gotten divorced.
Yeah.
And it was just like we were, always at each other's homes. So
good stuff, man. All right, we can start wrapping up here. Do we have anything to plug?
Rich, I'm curious if you got something.
I got some.
Yes,
good.
ladies.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to plug the upcoming return of I Am Negan this weekend.
Shit,
because finally. Yeah, myself, Adam Vale, and Carlos Romero will be talking about the premiere of this Rick and Michonne show that I heard is I don't know what the correct terms are. This is a highly anticipated show. This is the show that Carlos, he could not wait to watch. So we'll be sharing our thoughts after we check it out this weekend. I don't know exactly when the show is coming. It's either going to be, I don't know, between Sunday and Monday, but stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to seeing if the show is actually good.
Nice. Brett, you said you had something to plug, man?
Yeah, hold on one second. I am going to be at the Divine Intervention Tattoo Convention in Kansas City, Missouri from April 5th to 7th. It's a high-end invite show, so I'm really excited about it. It's taking place in historic Union Station, which is a dope-ass old building, and it's going to be a little bit higher class, nicer than some of the bullshit conventions we've had here in the last year or so. Several years. I'll be honest, man. The whole convention, like, it became a money making machine for certain ventures that just went around the country and put on generic tattoo conventions. So this is more one of those kind of going back to how it used to be, where this is the only convention that they put on, and they put it on once a year, and it's by invite. And we actually got some big names coming in too, so pretty excited.
Good stuff. Yeah. So if you're in the area, go meet Brett, man. He'll love to see you. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. All right, man. We're done here. Unless you have any more plugs. Invincible podcast returns in 2 weeks, so 3 weeks, something like that. March 14th. It's coming back. It's gonna be good. You know, an actual show I actually enjoy watching.
2 weeks.
Probably 3 weeks, but whatever. Time doesn't mean anything. So yeah, anyway, make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations, the rumors are always popping. You can also find Throwdown Show on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. 2 words, Throwdown Show. Throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the videos, again, we are back. We are back on YouTube, back live on YouTube. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when we do go live every Thursday and Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, unless we tell you otherwise. Anything else, just make sure you check out the links in the description. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
and Brian Manjoma.
Later, people.
All right, guys, you already know. Sunday. Later.
Peace.
It was-